The report, of course, is that Tua Tagovailoa is officially into concussion protocol for the second time this year. The NFLPA today officially initiating an investigation into the Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's second stint into the concussion protocol and the handling of that by your franchise, your team doctors. Last time he was in, and the last time the NFLPA brought it up, there were doctors that were fired, dismissed from NFL protocols.
Yeah, not Dolphins doctors, but NFL doctors that missed it on the sidelines. In this situation, Mike McDaniel said in today's news conference that watching game film of the second half, he noticed some inconsistencies in Tua that he had not seen before. And he noticed Tua doing things that were very uncharacteristic of him. And he noticed it several times, and it started to bother him and puzzle him. So they called Tua in, talked to him, and realized something wasn't right there, and they forced him to go see the team doctors. The team doctors, or the NFL doctors, ran the tests and realized that he had suffered a concussion. Tua had not realized it. Nobody realized it in real time. It was only in watching game film of the second half where Mike McDaniel was like, he said today, it had bothered me all weekend before I even watched the film that he wasn't himself in the second half. And watching the film got me really, really concerned, and that's why they approached Tua.
Jeff Pearlman, who just wrote the book about Bo Jackson, just really an interesting book. I got it on my desk here in the office, just tweets this out. I know the money is amazing, and I know the fruition of a dream, but life goes on beyond the age of 32 and 33. If I'm Tua Tagovailoa and his family, I think a lot about whether playing football is worth all of this. Watch some former players with CTE and ask whether it's a future.
It's a question he's got to answer, and those around him have to answer. There are a lot of people that are trying to answer that question for Tua right now, and I know people get paid to give their opinion, but I find it irresponsible. Tua's got to make these decisions, and I don't think anyone would blame him for shutting it down if that's what he chooses to do. And I do think that's a distinct possibility that he looks at this and he's like, I've had two that I know of this year. One of them, maybe an additional one to make it three. And then one of them I didn't even realize I had. I mean, that's what it's gotten to, is that I was walking around concussed and didn't even realize it. And, I mean, you got to ask yourself that question. There's no doubt. Tua's made a lot of money. He'll be fine. But to Jeff Pearlman's point, there's a quality of life you got to worry about moving forward. And I don't think anybody in this world would blame Tua for saying, I got to worry about that first.
Bob says you just look at the stat sheet. Tua's stats before and after the concussion were extremely different.
I mean, I watched, obviously, every play of the game. He was not the same guy in the second half. There's no doubt. He was spot on in the first half. I mean, Miami played really, really well offensively. The only reason that game wasn't 27-10 at the half is Raheem Mostert fumbled one near midfield at the end of the half. Tua was red hot at that time. And I think Miami was going to go in and score there and make it 27-10 at the half, and that game's probably over. We may not even have this discussion, but he was a different player in the second half. There's no doubt.
February Stars, I saw it happen when he hit the turf.
I did too.
You said when it happened. Is it on a little shovel pass or something where the guy has him at the feet?
Yeah, it was a play where he's rolling to his right, Tua's extending the play, which is where he gets in trouble. And he throws as he's going down, and you see right before the camera switches to the receiver, his head hits the turf. And I was watching the game by myself, so I didn't say it out loud. Instantly, I thought, oh, God, that looks bad. So the play ends. They show a replay, not of that, of the route. And the announcers aren't saying anything. So I'm like, okay, I guess he's all right. And then they cut to the huddle, and Tua's going in the huddle. So I guess I saw that wrong. But in real time, honest to goodness, I thought that looked really bad. It looked like his head hit the turf. And with Tua, because of his history, you're immediately alarmed by things like that.
Yeah, I mean, one concussion makes it easier to get a second and a third and a fourth. El Tigre brings that up. At what point does the NFL begin to start black flagging, that's a racing term of pulling cars off the track, a player for their own health? The boxing commissions won't allow certain fighters in the ring in some cases.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, that seems to be a slippery slope you're on there if you start doing that. But he's right. I mean, it happens in boxing. If they think a guy is in danger, if he has this fight, they won't let him do it.
Kevin in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. I think we live in a world now where we don't blame these guys for walking away. I mean, do we kill Andrew Luck?
No.
I mean, there was a story, I forget where I saw it on Andrew Luck this year.
It was a recent story about why he actually walked away. Yeah. It was done just about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, I probably missed the beginning of it on walking away and why he chose to walk away, but I caught it when he was spending time with his family and his kids and how happy he looked and like he didn't miss it that much.
Yeah.
Why did he say he walked away?
Well, I mean, I think these concerns.
Right.
Yeah, and Luke Kuechly is the most obvious example. Luke Kuechly was the top of the game. He's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, but he had concussion after concussion after concussion, and there's that heartbreaking video of him being carted off, and he breaks down involuntarily. It's not that he's just sad. He's concussed, and he starts crying in the cart being carted off the field. And I think that was the lasting image of people. And Luke Kuechly finally said, I can't do this anymore. And he left at the top of his game. So it's not unprecedented. And I'm with him. I don't think, knowing what we now know, I don't think anybody will ever blame a player for walking away for that situation.
He said what? Quarterbacks suffering from so many concussions. Just look at Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
And we've got friends who spend time with Jim McMahon. He deals with pain on the regular, every day, of some kind of pain. Migraines.
Yep, everything. I mean, it's just
neck pains, back pains, knee pains.
It's no way to live, and there's not enough amount of money that can make you want to live that way.
Problem is that when you're making that money, you don't have the impact on your body when you're 50. Because you're still bulletproof and you're in your 20s, right?
Yeah, and it's not just money, too. We like to talk about money, but Tua's a competitor. I mean, anybody that's in the NFL is a competitor. They want to compete, and they know.
And they enjoy what they're doing.
That's right.
They enjoy the game.
Yeah, and they enjoy the game and the camaraderie in the locker room, and they know, Dunaway, I've got a small window in my life to compete. It's not like Tua can say, hey, I'm going to take 3 or 4 years away from the game and see if this gets better, and then come back. You don't get to do that. This is the only time in his life he'll ever be able to be an NFL player.
Yeah, but see, there is something about how you play the game, right? Like Tom Brady, I watch every Buccaneer game with Brady in there. He doesn't get hit like Tua gets hit.
He doesn't extend plays the way Tua does.
Yeah.
He knows to throw it away.
And he throws it into the ground sometimes.
100% of Tua's issues come from him trying to extend plays. And you applaud that because he doesn't just give up on a play, but it has been detrimental to his health.
Yeah.
There's zero doubt it has been.
And I'll say this, and Brady will get his knee blown out this weekend, but he takes a snap and he'll look maybe to one progression or two, and then he's throwing it into the ground or throwing it over somebody's head, or dumping it down to a running back. He doesn't sit back in the pocket long. He gets rid of it so quick.
If you stay in the pocket, it's never been safer to play quarterback in football history. They protect the guys so well in the pocket. It's when you extend plays and leave pockets when you get in trouble.
Yeah, it's interesting, the different styles of play. All right, so Teddy Bridgewater will likely start this week in that big game for the Dolphins and the Patriots with playoff implications. That's not official yet. Tua is not ruled out, but it is trending in that direction.